And we are live in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first live stream we have done in 3 months.
At least
3 months. We're back.
We left before Thanksgiving, babe.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
We've been out of the game for a while. Today, you'll notice we are featuring...
Wow, that's close.
We're featuring some up-close and personal shots here.
Thank you,
We have
husband.
Caroline and Lexi behind the camera who are switching us back and forth.
Mhm.
But we just thought we'd be a little more intimate today.
Andrew thought we would be up each other's nostrils today.
Oh, man. Good stuff. All right. Well, we have Mandy here with us. We have Ashelina. We got Celia. We just wanted to jump on here, do this live stream, answer questions, give you updates, and I think it'll be a fun, what do you want to go for, like 45 minutes or so?
Yeah.
Let's
Should I
do
take
that.
us back to when we left on paternity leave?
Take us back there,
Which
babe.
is wild. It was before Thanksgiving. We worked almost all year. Is that right, girls?
Mm-hmm.
To prepare for our maternity leave that we actually took this time. It was the first maternity leave in 3 kids
Yep.
where we literally turned off. And Lord, am I so happy we did that preparation because we needed it.
We really did. Need is the
Did I go
appropriate
into
term.
depression? Maybe. Did we have issues? Yeah. We're doing better.
Yeah. We can answer
Not to laugh that off, but you know.
as of like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So this is really fresh that
Yeah.
we get to see Sean's beautiful smile. Look how beautiful you are. That's why I want to do an up-close shot, just because you look
Oh, wow.
A+, babe.
Wow.
Actually, let's just move this.
It was so
Now people can see.
tight that I couldn't.
I'll post a picture to Instagram, but the camera is
A foot away from my
extremely
face.
close to Sean's face. All right, so who do we have? We have Mallory, Kaylin, Livy. You guys can start throwing questions in the chat box.
Yeah.
But take us back to Thanksgiving. So
Okay.
Sean alluded to the fact we were really working double time to record enough episodes and YouTube videos and reels that we could continue to share things while we took some time off. And boy, I am glad we did that.
So Thanksgiving, we ended up staying here this year. It was a really hard decision because we always go to Indianapolis for Thanksgiving to do a big Thanksgiving with like the entire extended family. We ended up doing a couple of Friendsgivings, which was awesome. And we did a Thanksgiving with my family. Kept it really small and intimate, which was great. Fast forward. Oh, yeah, because I was like 38 weeks pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to December 12th, 2023 of last year. We went in for a scheduled C-section. All of my babies have been C-sections, so it was my 3rd repetitive one, which was a lot. Very long story short, we did that because with Drew, I had a really hard time delivering. Ended up in kind of like an emergency C-section, like a relaxed one. And so babies are C-section deliveries now. It went smooth.
Can I tell you a story that I heard from a friend the other day that his wife was in labor for 5 days?
No. Ow.
She didn't sleep for 5 days.
That's not
He was like,
funny.
she was
That's a long time.
yeah, she was delusional is what he was saying.
I would love
And
to know the like medical side of that, if that's okay.
Wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
But carry on.
So delivery went well. It was smooth. This was actually the first time I have like naturally low blood pressure. So when I am in surgery, I usually like get really nauseous and pass out really easily, which is not funny. But so they have to like do a bunch of stuff with the anesthesia to make sure that I don't pass out. And this one was the best one. They had it spot on. I didn't projectile vomit for 7 hours after the C-section, which I did with Jet. I was actually the most like coherent during the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I could like I wasn't super high. So I like really knew what was going on. I remember him getting pulled out. Andrew announced the gender to me, which was amazing. You were so shocked.
Yeah, I had to triple check.
Yeah.
Triple check.
But you introduced me to Barrett Madison East. He
That was a
had the
good day.
sweetest little cry. They put him right on my chest. He calmed down. And we had a magical couple days at the hospital, which was great.
And then, and it's been magical,
It has been magical.
but it's been
and
hectic. I tell you what, I don't know if any of y'all have had a December baby, but it's kind of a grind.
It is.
It's just you got winter break for the older kids for us, so they're at home all day. It's cold outside, so you're in the house all day. You got all the holidays, so there's like just less availability and more traveling and a little more hectic.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, now we got sunshine.
Well, I want to add a little story to that too. So, Bear was born on the 12th. Again, this year was a really big year for Christmas because it was the 1-year anniversary of losing
My dad.
Andrew's dad. And so we had all of these plans to like all be together because his dad passed away the day after Christmas last year. And with Bear arriving so kind of like late into December, we couldn't travel back to Indy. So why not 10 days after having a baby, fly the whole family in? It was actually magical, but the entire family rented an Airbnb really close to our house, and they came in for Christmas all the way to New Year's, and we had everybody together, including the baby. We went on some massive excursions with a 3-week-old. It was a lot, but it was so much fun to be around family.
In retrospect, and I have not confessed this to you, in the moment when you're with a 3-week-old, it feels like you've settled into the new routine.
Yeah.
And so I feel maybe too comfortable asking you to do big things like, hey, let's go to
Interesting.
the Opry and like
Which
be
we
around this
did.
crowd of people.
With a 3-week-old.
Or let's go to the Monster Jam in Indiana. And
With a 6-week-old.
And then now looking back on it, I'm like, wow,
Oh.
3 weeks was still pretty fresh. So
Oh.
I wish I was able to zoom out a little better and more effectively to prevent maybe some stressful situations.
Interesting.
So
thank you.
You forgive me?
I do.
Okay. Is there any other updates you want to give?
Uh,
Family came in town, and then
we had a magical Christmas. I remember that. That was so much fun with the big kids waking up on Christmas morning with the infant, opening presents. It was a magical December. Having a baby as like a Christmas gift and blessing, having Christmas, being around family was really cool.
Can I just be honest and say that I'm having so much fun with Drew and Jet?
Yeah.
We are having a blast. We go to parks. We ride bikes. We go look at animals in the neighborhood. We call it neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
Try to find deer or whatever else. And anyway, and Sean's been extremely gracious through it all. So that's some quick updates.
Yeah.
Shall we hit some questions?
Let's do it.
We got, let's see, Mandy asks, how are you two doing? I know it's been a wild ride, but how do you feel you both are emotionally, physically, etc.? You go first.
It's been a roller coaster. I think this has been one of the hardest transitions for us
Ever in life.
Yeah. The first couple weeks with Bear felt easy. It felt like the easiest transition. But then after about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, Bear started developing some like serious colic issues, which really took a toll on me emotionally, physically, just everything. And that lasted about 6 weeks till we were able to kind of figure it out. He had some ties, and so had a really hard time nursing and eating and sleeping, and just was really never a happy baby, which caused a lot of tears and a lot of frustration and probably a little postpartum depression, and frustration between Andrew and I, and made me kind of like miss our big kids and just like all this stuff. So it was a really hard few weeks there. But I'd say we're 11 weeks in now. And
Has it been 11 weeks?
11
Wow.
weeks. I would say as of like literally 2 days ago, I feel like we're slowly turning a page.
There's
feeling better.
so many dynamics at play where, Sean is maybe frustrated or feels guilty that Bear's not eating, and then that consumes all of our mental bandwidth, and then we start miscommunicating, and then now nothing's right, and there's so many things at play.
I remember going into the pediatrician's office for like the 5th time, and I remember him sitting me down, and he's the most amazing pediatrician ever, and he puts so much effort into making sure mom is okay, like way on top of baby. And I remember him asking me, he's like, "How are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm good." He's like, "No, how are you really doing?" And I was like, "I'm good." And it was that feeling like in your throat. I don't know how to explain it. I was like, if you keep asking this question, I am going to break. Stop asking. I'm good. And he's like, "But you were good with the first and second. Sometimes the third comes around." I was like, "You need to stop asking the question."
This is so revealing to hear you talk. You could also just answer honestly and say, "It's kind of hard.
I didn't
I'm
want to start
kind of
bawling in
struggling."
front of the pediatrician.
You got some weird scars from your past.
I know. I can see the headlines already, babe.
Okay.
People Magazine's going to be like,
Oh.
Sean Johnson.
Alana asked for book recommendations for first-time parents. All right. Dude, You're Gonna Be a Dad was helpful for me when Sean was first pregnant. 1, 2, 3 Magic.
Emily Oster's books.
Parent Data and Family. Yeah, look up Emily Oster.
She makes you feel sane in every decision you make.
And what other first-time books? Maybe we should have a list. We'll include that in the next newsletter.
I will say
books for first-time parents.
The Mama Natural.
You like that?
It gives a lot of information. You don't have to be holistic to read the book, but it like gives you a lot of information, which is great.
Good.
Okay. What's another one?
Next question. How are the kids adjusting to the new baby? By Sheila.
They have done so well. A lot of credit given to Andrew. Andrew, you have like more than stepped up and just like Andrew's with the two bigs every second of the day, playing, distracting, taking care of, taking them to school and everything. It's like it's like Drew and Jet have a dad and Bear has a mom, and that's about it right now.
Which might not be abnormal. I will say this. I'm not with them every second of the day, and I am continually humbled. We said this after our first kid, and it's only proven to be more and more true. We have all of the resources in the world, people around us to help, and we're still struggling.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine, like the stay-at-home or like the solo mom.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we have big plans.
Or solo parent. I mean, yeah.
That's one of our focuses for this year is to try to look outward and see how we can set other people up for success in a meaningful way.
You look so handsome.
You like this? You like these up close shots?
Of you?
I was saying something heartfelt and then you kind of, but
sorry.
It's fine. Let's go to the next question.
I'm so sorry. I got distracted.
Madison says she's struggling knowing if she wants to have another baby. What's your advice for this? Currently have had 2 kids. Wow.
I would say personally, I don't want to like advise you whether to have more kids or not here. So that's on you. But I would say my personal experience was after 2, I still felt like we were missing someone. It didn't feel like our family was complete. And I don't know how to explain it other than I just felt like we were missing someone. As soon as we had Bear, I don't feel that anymore. I don't feel like we're missing someone who's should be a part of our family. Our family feels complete. So I think it's just kind of like a gut feeling.
It's kind of been a big shift mentally for me where you look forward to, if you want kids, I feel like you're like the type of person that has grown up wanting kids. And so then you go through the process of having your first kid, your second kid. And now we're at the phase where it's like, maybe we just had our last kid. Mm-hmm. And it's this harsh reality that phase might be over.
I know.
That's freaking crazy to me.
It is.
So I guess this is the next chapter of our life.
Which is weird. It's weird.
It is weird. So I don't think you'll ever regret having kids, Madison. That's just my thought, not advice. But if you're if you're able to make it happen, then the world needs more good people. Kari says, any mood issues at all with your pregnancies? What was your mood like? She's 12 weeks postpartum too. Mood?
Do you want to answer this, Andrew?
What mood? What?
I would describe it as like it's like this out of body experience. I feel like my mind and my body gets hijacked, and it's like I have like I have my sane self like on the outside looking at me, being like, "Why are you acting like this?" But I don't know how to turn it off. I get sad. I get angry. I get irrational. I get all the things.
What?
Short.
What?
Scared.
What? All right. Nina says she's 11 weeks pregnant with baby 4. This will be her 3rd C-section. Was it easier or harder to heal from? John?
The 3rd one?
3rd C-section.
The same. I feel like my body has been affected a little bit more. Just not quite as like bouncing back, But I approached my very first C-section the same way I'm approaching all these, which is I've had multiple knee surgeries. And in athletics, with every surgery, you attack it like with this game plan of how am I going to rehab and put in the time and effort to like slowly recover over the course of, whatever the prescribed time is. And with a C-section, they say it can take at least a year, if not multiple years, to recover. So that's kind of how I've looked at all of them. I feel like they've all been pretty equal that way as far as like pain, approach, but I feel good. I was flipping like a month after, which is very fast, but
you're insane. Brianna says, no questions, just saying you guys are killing it. Appreciate you both. Thank you. Does not feel that way always, but we appreciate it. Also, before we hit the next question, please hit the thumbs up. That helps us out. It should be on like the main YouTube page.
Andrew, here's one for you.
Hit me.
Ben asks, how has our relationship changed since having Bear?
Here's the thing. The margin for nonsense becomes less and less and less. And so, and by nonsense, I mean like my shortcomings in communication, our shortcomings in how we navigate, that you have way less room to do that because the stakes are in a lot of ways way higher, especially in the first 3 months like we're in now. If I leave the house for an hour with you and the 3 kids there alone, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in some ways we kind of like hit rock bottom, and I don't mean that dramatically. It's just like we were stretched as thin as we've ever been. Our plate was as full as it ever was. And I think we had to like die to our previous routines and our previous identities. We've done this every kid, and it hurts every time. And every time you're like, wow, this is looking tough right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of a biblical concept of dying to the previous thing so that you can unlock the next thing,
I would say.
So that's how I think like we hit a really on Saturday for us was like, okay, this is a new version of us. And we got to be more thoughtful, more intentional, realize that like, I'm going to disappoint you. I'm going to let you down. And what do we do with that information? And how can we have that happen less? Anyway, that was my hot take. Go ahead.
No, I love that.
You were going to say something.
I remember going to the hospital to deliver Drew. And I remember you and I started crying. And I remember you asking what was wrong. I was like, I'm just afraid of losing you. Like having a baby. And I do think after every kid, it's been a really hard transition for us to figure out how to like still prioritize each other with such massive transitions. But we're slowly on the way back up.
Mandy says no pressure, but is there going to be another family made event? Yes, we have Jamie and her wonderful team organizing one. Can I say the date? We just locked it in. Am I good to say that? May 10th. Put it on your calendar.
Where's it going to be?
In Salt Lake City.
Ooh.
It was phenomenal phenomenal last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was not fun. Should we tell that story?
I was on my deathbed, you guys.
We never told this story, did we? Oh, frick. That was crazy.
So we were a huge part of that event last year. I got so sick. So sick. Like severe respiratory infection. Literally so sick. And so I was like, I can't go. I literally can't make the event. I cannot get on a plane in this climate of the world, hacking up a lung, not being able to breathe. I couldn't sleep, all this stuff.
Oh, man.
I was pregnant too, which made it even worse. And let's just summarize this. About the night before, Andrew calls me and he's like, you got to be here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You showed up.
And
guess what? We pulled up to the event as it was going live, and it was a phenomenal event. Anyway, it's going to be in Salt Lake City, May 10th. Be there. I think there's only going to be like 300 tickets for sale. Yeah. And that'll probably be the only event we do. Always have some phenomenal speakers, so stay tuned.
I have a really good question.
Hit it.
Question says, I'm finding it hard to transition or the transition of me.
You got it?
It's basically, to summarize her question, she said, when things get hard, who do I prioritize, my son or my significant other?
Go ahead.
I would say your significant other. What would you say?
I'm not in that position. I think our mentalities is much different. I would say significant other, but I'm not a mom either, and I've realized that your relationship with the kids is like a little different than mine.
I would say you are prioritizing your kids by prioritizing your significant other.
I appreciate you prioritizing me. We have continued to do date night, which has been crucial, and we shall continue. Onwards. All right. Livy is about to have baby number 2, and she's nervous that she won't have the same relationship with her 2-year-old anymore. Advice?
Say that again.
She's worried she's not going to have the same relationship with her oldest kid as she has her second kid.
Oh, what would you say to
that? Man, your relationship does change. You're able to focus a little less on the kid, which is probably healthy in the long run, to be honest. And the amount that I've learned about Drew by watching her relate to her siblings has been amazing, and it's a magical process. So I think your appreciation will only grow. So you'll be all right, Livy.
I was really afraid of like our second kid taking away from our first kid, or a third taking away from the others. Especially being an only child, I didn't understand like the sibling dynamic either and how it works on parents. And yeah, it makes you appreciate your kids even more somehow because it limits your time with them. So you like appreciate them even more.
Yeah. Laura says, let's see. Have you ever made baby books? Her oldest is 9 and youngest is 10 months, and she actually hasn't stopped to focus on doing like the memorabilia books, and she's afraid she'll lose pictures and videos. I'm not very organized with anything except this in life, to be honest. I spend a lot of time and effort organizing and bucketing photos, pictures. I did the email thing where I made the kids an email address and I send moments as they happen. Would recommend that. It's a really quick and easy way to have like a time-stamped memory that ultimately will go back in and create a baby book from. But yeah, I spent a lot of time doing this. This has been something that if you were here in October, you saw that we published a birth vlog that my dad filmed of us. And we were actually just going back through some of the family tapes. And there's East family footage from 1960. So I think this has kind of been something that I've been like trained to do. Whereas my grandpa did it, my dad did it, and I did it. And so, yeah, we spend a lot of effort with the photos and videos and making sure that they're actually like meaningfully organized.
We did have a goal this year, though, to sit down and to take all the digital things and make them into actual physical books, because everything is like digitized. I'd like to like fill out their baby books so you can actually hand down to them, but we do have everything like on the interweb.
Allison asks, have you ever talked to your kids about death? How have you talked to your kids about death without them being afraid they will die? Yeah, we've had to talk about it a couple times with my dad, and then also when we go on neighborhood watch and look for animals, sometimes like we'll see. One time there's a dead bobcat, and I always hesitate. Like I always pause before I say die or he's dead, but then there's no way around it. It's like you kind of have to confront it. And our kids haven't asked too many questions about will they die. But I will say Sean's been incredibly intentional with like before bedtime, making sure that these scary things or thoughts aren't top of mind. So
yeah, it got brought up for the first time when Andrew's dad passed away, because we had to, since he was such a huge like presence in the kids' lives, having to explain and reiterate that permanency was the hardest, because I feel like our kids digested this concept that Papa's gone and Papa's in heaven and Papa's with God or whatever. But having to reiterate that permanency over and over again of like, Papa's not here. Like, we're not going to see him tomorrow, or you'll see him sometime. And then a lot of the questions that I had to navigate with like the toddler phase from Drew was, well, can I go see him in heaven tomorrow, today, whatever? And it's like explaining that side of it is more difficult. But I think if you just explain it not in a scary way, then it kind of takes away that fear. Yeah. Drew has asked about being taken away from us forever. So yeah, you just have to kind of try to keep it light in the seriousness of it.
Mallory asks, how does your faith play a part in the postpartum season? There's a John Piper quote that says, God is most glorified in us when we are most satisfied in him. And I think there's like this aspect of contentment, and that's the main focus of faith. But along with that comes a lot of derivative fruits, I think, one of which is the filter through which you see reality. Been learning up on Alexander the Great. This is a side note. Do you mind? And I learned two things that I'll share with you. I'll just share two things. One is Alexander was 20 years old when he became the king. He's this little kid, doesn't feel worthy. All right. And then his mom tells him that, hey, you're the son of a king. You're ready for this. And that's kind of profound when you think about Christians, at least. Like the Bible says that we're the son of a king, and the self perspective that is changed when you view yourself like that is dramatic. How you carry yourself changes. The second thing is before his big battle with Darius, where he was going to like pretty much conquer the world if he won this battle.
Alexander the Great.
there's this lunar eclipse. The sky's blood red. Darius looks at the moon and says, oh no, this is a bad omen. Alexander looks at this and says, we're going to dominate tomorrow. And I think there's like this aspect of faith looped in with that, where that's the filter for reality. It's like, is this meaningful and purposeful and towards a greater purpose, or is this not? Hey, Sean and I are. It's been a tough couple weeks. Is it meaningful and purposeful? Is it pointing towards something greater, or is it a bad omen? And I think that's a brief synopsis.
I think too, something that we've tried to do is like, especially in this phase of life where things get really difficult. Andrew and I always talk about, the more selfish you are, the worse things are. So the more you focus on what's going wrong and right, like internally, it seems to make everything worse. Am I saying this correctly? So like the past couple of weeks when we've really struggled, we've tried to like remove ourselves and stop talking about like the small details as much, and we've tried to go back to like devotionals, and it's like putting your sights back on him and not on you.
Yeah. I mean, if you pull out one of those magnifying makeup mirrors, boy, you'll find out a lot about the imperfections of your skin. But like, you take a step back and look at something bigger. You stop focusing on yourself. That has drastic consequences. Anyway, next, Andrea asks, how do you handle your frustration and impatience when the kiddos continue to test you? I'll go on another soapbox here. I have been challenged with the fact that it is so much easier to yell at your kids and say, no, don't do that. Stop doing that. Jet, stop doing that. Drew, don't do that anymore. And you're like, no. Because kids do a lot of frustrating things. They're exploring the world. They have so much to learn, and I don't think they're necessarily doing it intentionally all the time. And I'm trying to change my perspective and change my strategy from just saying, no, don't do this. No, don't do this. No, don't do this, to actually redirecting that towards, they're doing something bad. Drew's coloring on the wall. Oh, wow. Drew, let's draw on this piece of paper instead. That's beautiful. Let's put this on a paper so we can keep it forever, right? And it's like a small shift. It doesn't douse their excitement for what they're doing, and I think it actually makes them feel more excited to do it. It's less discouraging. I think it accomplishes the same purpose, which is Drew stops coloring on the wall, right? Like, as a parent, that's one of the things you want to accomplish. But on a grander scale, you also want to accomplish them being engaged and taking initiative and like going for it. And so I think just having the no approach escalates frustration. It allows more opportunity for the kid to disappoint you and not listen to you. And so trying to say, hey, yes, and, instead of no, just say, yes, love your picture, and let's move it to the paper.
You've done a really good job with that. You've been challenging me a lot to do that. And I see the biggest difference in Drew when we do that, when you do that specifically, because instead of like me saying no and just shutting her down, because she truly like, she feels hard. So if you tell her no to something, she like coils inward. But if you say, which what I've been noticing you do a lot, like, let's do it on the paper or whatever you're saying, it still like lights her up.
Yeah.
Which is special. Good job.
Jessica says she's going through a miscarriage currently. How can I honor my baby and look forward and hope in the midst of grief? A close friend of ours, family member, just went through this, and they had almost like a half day celebration where they kind of had like a burial service, like a memorial service. They named the kid, and I think maybe even had like rocks with
twins.
Did they have rocks or like kind of like a gravestone?
Yeah.
With their names on it. And I mean, that's like a miscarriage hits. That hurts. You like make that mental shift to being a parent. You never go back to pre-parenthood once you like find out you're pregnant, right? So like you've made this shift, and then you find out the news, and that's tough. So anyway, praying for you, Jessica.
I'd also say don't try to make it small, because it's not small. It's a big thing, and it's big feelings. So
Yeah.
feel it.
Any other questions here, Sean, that you see?
I think we got through most of them.
It's pretty good. Hit the thumbs up before we move on. Oh my gosh.
Here's one more.
Okay.
Off the same topic of miscarriage, someone's saying, how do I best support a friend who's going through that? Just be there for them. I'd say listen, encourage, do the small things. Send them coffee, or tell them you're praying for them, or that they're in your thoughts, or just be there for them. You don't have to you don't have to say anything. Just be there, I think.
Laura asked about family traditions. How many more do you want to answer?
Up to you. I'm good.
Let's answer this one, and then we could you could tell a closing story or update.
Okay.
And go on from there.
Okay.
Family traditions that we really love and implement daily or holiday. Yeah. Well, we are pretty routine oriented. So daily, we have kind of a whole slate of activities we do. We wake up in the morning and do what I call opening ceremonies, where it's like you feed the dog, you unlock the doors, you open up the shades, you make the coffee, you make the kids breakfast, you whatever, make yourself water, you do all these things.
Which are all the same every single day, pretty much. The kids always help you make coffee.
I make my slew of AG1, breakfast, smoothie, the whole thing. And there's like, a list of 25 things to do in the first 15 minutes of the day.
We always do like morning prayers too, which is, this is the day the Lord has made, let us rejoice and be glad in it. And then we always say, God is good, and the kids say God is great, which is something Andrew and I did while we were dating.
And then traditions, I mean, yeah, we actually have a list of this mapped out. I'm thinking about sharing our little family culture starter pack, where it's like a list of traditions that you could start with and then iterate to make your own, tweak and make your own. But we do daddy-daughter, Valentine's date, we do Christmas lights, we do pumpkin patching, we do apple orchards, we do 4th of July with the family, Thanksgiving with family. We kind of have a calendar. And it's back in the day, like when you're a kid, you don't look forward to holidays like we do now, and it feels like the tradition is redundant and mundane.
Yeah.
But now it's like
then you have kids, and it's so exciting.
Well, it's almost like the next thing to look forward to, where it's like, all right, if we can make it to Easter brunch, please. Anyway, so we can end there. But do you have any other stories?
Any other stories?
What do we have coming up? Maybe you tell us about what we have coming up. Because Allison, I think, asked about, are we excited to take the kids to the Olympics?
To the Olympics.
That's one thing.
I would say I'll do a little story and talk about that. Bear has recently started like smiling and kind of giggling, which is the sweetest thing in the entire world. And
he's a smiley kid, man.
He is
it's
a smiley
magic.
Kid. And the other night, Drew was like playing with him, like kind of patting his belly, and he was just lighting up to her. And it's really cool to see how excited. I'm always saying like, oh, Bear loves his Abba, which is Jet calls Drew Abba. I don't know why, but it's always been the thing. And just to see like their little bond starting to form has been really, really special. But yes, I am very excited. I'm intimidated because I'm in the middle of planning all of the logistics, but we are taking our entire family, so all 5 of us, plus my parents and Andrew's mom, to London, Paris for 2.5 weeks for the Olympics, and then Italy afterwards, and then flying home. Drew is so excited. I did make the mistake of telling her about it almost a month ago, And she wakes up every day asking if she can pack her suitcase
No
and we can get
joke.
on the plane.
It's adorable.
She has no reference of time that it'll be many months away, but it's going to be really special. We found incredible Airbnbs. We're going to like live the life and culture there since we'll be there for so long, go to some Olympic Games. Looks like we're going to go to Disney. Is it Disneyland or Disney World there?
In Florida World.
No. Sorry, in Paris.
Oh, I have no idea.
We're going
No
to
idea.
Disney Paris. Gonna go to the beaches in Italy, go boat around Capri and all these things. It'll be fun. But I'm really excited. We did a huge Greek cruise last year with the same squad. So to go bounce around Europe this year, I think will be really special. Can I share what we did? The list of places?
Yes.
So Andrew and I actually did something that I really found super exciting and fun. We wanted to kind of take away the chance that we become like repeat vacationers every year, where we just go to, Mexico
The
or
Old
Florida.
Faithful.
Yeah. And so we put a list together of like our bucket list places. Where do we want to go in the world? An African safari, Australia, whatever. And we listed out probably 12 of them and categorized them of like, would these trips be good for young kids, middle-aged, or like middle school kids or high school kids? And we've got this running list of like that we're going to start checking off every year. We're going to go do one big trip in the summer instead of doing like summer camps and stuff. We're just going to travel, which will be fun.
Yeah. I'm excited. Let's see.
Do you have a story to share?
Well, someone asked, wow, it feels like a lot of your routines and focus are centered around Sean. And I said, one, that's not a question. And two, I said, what I am trying to do a better job at and what your amazing career and life has taught me and nudged me towards is like, yeah, you are amazing. And I think it should be centered around you. And the more it is centered around you and you win, then the team wins and we all win as a family. And it's like,
our content is centered around
all
me?
of it. No, the whole thing, our schedule, our routine. It's like you're going to the Olympics, and would you be going if it wasn't about Sean? It's like it doesn't matter. It is about Sean, and that's the way it ought to be.
Our family is not about me.
I'm just saying I love you. Is what I'm saying. Anyway, what did you guys think of the up close and personal shots? Did we like the close up? Is this too much? Caroline's into it.
I liked it, babe.
You liked it? Oh, we have No Story Lost on here right now. Speaking of baby books. So if you're looking for a way to organize pictures and preserve stories, No Story Lost, imagine it as a biography built for you, an autobiography. And they walk you through it through a series of interviews. They transcribe it, organize it, ask for pictures related to it. We're doing it for my mom to preserve stories of her and my dad. We're going to do it for Sean's parents. And I'm excited to have like coffee table books of family legacy and family story. It's fantastic. So anyway, I guess that's how we're going to close. How about that?
I like that.
This was fun. Let us know. Maybe we do one in another couple months, but there's also a bunch of more questions. So next week we can answer the questions we didn't get to here today, as well as questions from Instagram. That'll be the podcast episode next week. Probably this year, we're going to do a lot of Sean and I episodes, and I'm excited about it. And I've been talking for a long time, and you haven't talked in a while, so you take the mic.
No, it's been great.
So ask questions. We might do an Instagram post about that, but that's all we got. Thank you as always. I'm Andrew.
I'm Sean.
We're the East Fam.